Such a good song, guys. Listen to this. Coffee's tasting good today. Two minutes to go, guys, and we are live. We are live in 5.
Fantasizing like we're in NYC. The reality is we will never be.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Oh, the coffee's nearly drunk. We are nearly live. 30 seconds to go, guys. Get your hats on. Stand by your beds. Oh, 15 seconds, 10. 10 seconds to go. I'm live in 10. Good afternoon. How are you all doing? Hope you enjoyed the music. YouTube, we are live. How are you all doing? I'm out and about in the car. Robert, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you on board. Thank you very much for joining me live on YouTube. Right, I tell you what, okay, firstly, it's been a massively busy couple of weeks. So my Periscope followers out there, I'm really sorry I've not been Periscoping for a little while. So busy. Let me explain to everybody out there who does not know me already who I am. I'm Scott Ramsey. I am a YouTuber, a blogger, a vlogger, a photographer, a visual content creator. Business comes first. It sure does, Robert. Absolutely. I'm a creator, I guess. That's what it's all about, okay? Back when I started creating stuff, the world was a lot easier and a lot quieter, okay? You had photographers, you had filmmakers, you had kind of TV news people, you had journalists. Now the world has changed. So when people ask me, what do? I kind of say, well, I've got this great long list and I'm not 100% sure what I do. But there is one thing I'm sure that I do, and I love creating stories and I love telling stories, predominantly with visuals. I also love music. Hence why I have started doing this YouTube every day. We're going to have a YouTube live meetup. I'm late today, the first one of the day, and I'm late. Ideally between 4 and 5 every single day. We're going to give this a go and see how many people join us, see whether we can get a bit of a nice group of people regularly tuning in. That'll be really good. So Robert, you're the first one, buddy. Nice to have you on board. So if you don't know Robert, he's over on my Periscope channel. I've got a lot of followers over there, and it's nice to be doing something on YouTube. So really, we're just shooting the breeze. We're just going to be talking about stuff that I've discovered in the last day or two, stuff that I'm working on. Hopefully give you guys some inspiration. Sometimes it's going to be from the car, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Other times I might be out and about. Other times I'm going to be from my office. So it's going to be slightly different from the Periscope stuff, okay? It's more going to be talking to you guys rather than showing you events and going out maybe taking photographs. The weather is better. Robert, I tell you what, the weather's not been brilliant today. We forecast heavy downpours. By the way, this YouTube live video is not sponsored by any coffee company out there, or anybody else, by the way. I just like coffee. So it's pretty good. The weather is kind of brightening up. We've got some showers here. We've got some horrendous rain coming. If you don't know where I am, I'm based right down on the south coast of the UK. And there's lots of people walking past me wondering what the heck I'm doing. Coffee is a necessity, especially between about 4 and 5 o'clock when you've been stuck in front of the computer or working hard all day. So I'm based in the south coast, right on the south coast of England. London, to give you the heads up, is probably about an hour and a half on the train away, if you're lucky and the trains are running. Yes, I have a moustache, and yes, it gets waxed. Hence, hashtag moustache. Get it? See it? I have a beard as well. And I just love everything creative. I was going to tell you guys about what I've been up to recently. And that kind of got me thinking about how there's an awful lot of people out there on all social media networks, okay? And I don't know, is it me? Thank you, buddy. There's a lot of people out there, and I don't know, it could be because I'm slightly tired. All right? I'm not moaning because I do a job that I absolutely love doing. But even in jobs you do and you absolutely love doing, you sometimes pull long days, all right? And it's been not a long day, it's been a long couple of weeks. So I could be slightly tired today, but I did get my 9 hours worth of kit last night, so I'm kind of buzzing and the coffee's kicking in. But there is a chance that I'm slightly irritated today. I don't know, things might be irritating me. But what I was really trying to say is, there's an awful lot of people out there that proclaim to be, is that even a word? I think it is. To be experts in their field, okay? Just go, okay? Just go on any social media network and you will be, I don't know, you show an interest in horse racing, training horses, photography. It is indeed a word, thank you. See, you got my back. Anything like that, or particularly photography or filmmaking. And the amount of people out there that have zilch, I'm telling you, zilch experience in what they're talking about. Now, let me quantify that a little bit, all right? Let me explain more about it. The reason is because there's a lot of people out there, and I love social media, and I do a lot of that within my work as a photographer, and I do social media stuff for clients and building websites and lots of different stuff like that. A lot of people have all the talk and have no idea at all. And the reason they do is if you watch a certain person or a certain group of people, they will jump between lots of different things that are happening, and they will try and jump on something that's going to get them the most amount of likes, or they're going to get them the most amount of coverage, but they actually don't know what field they were talking about, okay? And it irritates me. It really irritates me. So I guess what I'm going to try and do with these meetups that we're going to hopefully have on a daily basis is give you the opportunity to ask me questions. Because when I was learning as a photographer, and I started, I'm 40 something or other now, I started when I was about 11 or 12, I had my first photograph published in a newspaper. My father was a photographer, so I'm second generation photographer. But mainly when I was working and I started my career and I decided to be a photographer, and just solely a photographer, and it was mainly editorial work that I was doing. A, there were a lot of newspapers out there, but B, there were experienced people that could train you and teach you. You know, I was working with guys that have been photographers all the way, for 30, 40 years experience, you know, and they would give you a hard time if you came back with no decent photographs, yeah? So you're always learning. Now, I got a feeling, certainly in this country, that a lot of that is disappearing now, you know. You haven't got the people that have been in their careers for an awful long time, or they're not being heard, because I do the same. You jump onto YouTube and you jump onto all the social media networks and you kind of start looking and you get advice on stuff, yeah? And I want to actually say, well, if you want to know a little bit about photography, if you want to know about being an editorial photographer, if you want to just shoot the breeze and just talk about creative stuff, I'm going to be here to answer your questions. And I've got 30 years experience in it, okay? And there may be at a later date, and one thing I must get is a stabilizer for this. And one time I'll probably try and show you some of the work that I've covered. Hey Carol, how you doing? Good to have you on board YouTube with me. So I've got the experience. Now, that doesn't mean I know everything about everything. I do not know everything, okay? Because things change continuously. But what I do know about is creative stuff and seeing photography or visuals, okay? And about kit and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I want to share with you, and you can kind of come and talk to me. So think of me as that kind of old guy with a funny moustache that's been doing a job that you want to do. For all you young people out there, or maybe you're an amateur photographer and you just want to get some tips, but I don't want to just keep it into photography. I want to also, because the business has changed drastically, okay? When I first started as a photographer, you know, the goal was that you would work for the national newspapers. I achieved that within my early part of my career, and then the whole world changed. People of a similar age and older than me will know how the world has changed. But for you young people out there that are the same age as my son, or my sons, should I say, oh, thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. You know, if you're in your, maybe, you know, you're a teenager, or maybe you're in your early 20s, you know, you may not appreciate you may be not realizing how things have changed so much. And to become a photographer now, you can't just be a photographer. I'm going to put that out there. You cannot just earn a living at being a photographer, okay? Unless you have a very, very specialized field in what you do, okay? But I don't know. I mean, I used to work with, on one newspaper alone, on an evening newspaper in this country, when I was a staff photographer. I've said it before over on Perry, but I'll say it here. I used to work with a team of 15 photographers. Those photographers now, no more. They have, I think they've got one staff photographer left. The whole world has changed. And these people are earning a good living, and they're highly respected and very good award-winning even photographers. And now everything has changed. So that's the kind of stuff I want to talk to you about, and the kind of stuff about what I've been up to. So shoot me some questions if you get the opportunity, either when I'm live or afterwards. You've got my social media links in there. I always try and reply to everybody. So come and join me. I'm going to have a swig of coffee because this is needed. And then I'm going to explain what I've been doing the last couple of days. That's good. So what have I been doing today? Okay, this is my working day. Saturday is a good example. You're getting to grips with your new Canon, exactly. We'll do a thing about gear, because I think I've said it before, but gear is very important, and you must not get gear envy, okay? And we're going to do, maybe in tomorrow's one, what we'll do is when we have a little meet up, we'll have a talk about the gear that I use and what I recommend for you guys to concentrate on if you've not got a lot of money. Hi Scott, it's interesting stuff. Hey, how you doing from Perry? I wondered what you thought of the Sky Arts Show Master of Photography. I don't subscribe to Sky, so I have no idea, but I did hear it was going on. I'd love to watch it and see it. I missed that account, so just pop that up again. I've said it before, let's stick with this just for a second, okay? I'm a great believer in you've got to be born with creativity. You're either a creative type or you're not a creative type. That's my first thing that people might criticize me for, but I'm going to put that out there, okay? Now, it doesn't mean that you can't become creative. You can discover it, and everybody has a creative side. But the people that will probably make a career out of it, or I guess become famous in some way for their art, it's born into them. You know, there's a creativity. I love storytelling. I love meeting people and creating stories, and within that, I like creating their. Carol, this is new, so it's kind of growing, hopefully, but Periscope numbers are dropping anyway, but we'll keep that to another subject. So it's all about sharing your world and how you see it, and sharing it with everybody. And that's what I like to do. But what really interests me, and that's why I don't necessarily go out and take a lot of landscape photography, is because I like to meet people like you guys and find out what you do, because I believe that everybody's got a story. So that's what's always driven me. But then again, you see, I've grown up in that world and reading things like Life magazine, National Geographic magazine, and it's all about the story for me, very much so. So that's kind of what I specialise in. I think half the bother with creativity, from my own point of view anyway, I think creating is, yeah, And to quantify that, I don't want that to ever put anybody off and say, well, he said you've got to be, you've got to be born, you've got to be love, creative kind of stuff. It's got to be in your blood. Well, it has got to be in your blood, but at the same time, you can create and you can learn to create. So you could be the most creative person in the world, but if you don't put any time into creating your art, whether it be photography or a movie or whatever, it's no good for you. You've got to work at it daily. I mean daily, okay? You cannot, for people that think it's, they can just set up a Facebook page or whatever it may be and become famous overnight. It ain't going to happen. It might happen, but it's probably unusual that it will happen. And I question even the people that just suddenly launch something like a Facebook page or YouTube channel. It's going to happen overnight. They've probably put a lot of thought behind it before they launch it. So see, there's loads of stuff we can talk about, and this is what it's all about. New paints ordered. Most have gone off due to lack of use. Carol, yeah, so Carol there is doing a lot of painting. So she's a painter, so this is what I want to do as well, bring in lots of different people, lots of different interests across the art form, because it's all about visual stuff. Is really what we're doing. I'm finding I'm doing a lot more writing now as well than I ever used to for my clients when I'm doing social media stuff. So I'm doing a lot more writing, which is a challenge for me. Did I tell you, I was going to tell you about Saturday, okay. Now, also another thing that happens when I'm talking or doing anything live streaming, I flip from one subject to another quite quickly. So bear with me. That's just me. Thank you, Carol. I tell you, here's a good example. I'm going to leave it on because the idea of these is probably sometimes it's a 20-minute or a 10-minute little catch-up. So this is my day on Saturday, and in no way that I'm showing off or anything like that, but this is just for you guys out there that maybe aren't earning a living doing kind of what I do, which is a mix of photography and that kind of stuff. So back in the day, all I would do is take photographs. I might do 5 or 6 jobs in a day for a newspaper or a client of mine, and then that'll be it. Go and process them. That's it. This is Saturday. Saturday started off. So I've been working on a big project for a client, big community event that they're organising, and I've been helping to do all the publicity and get people up on that and let people know about it in the local area so they attend the event. Okay, so the day of the event, okay, started at 6:30 in the morning. Okay, I had to do, well, first of all, I did a quick scope actually, because the reason why I did a quick scope was because I did a live radio interview with BBC Sussex, which is a big radio station down here. Did my first live interview with them, which was about the event that I was publicising for my client. That was done at 20 to 8 in the morning, so I did a quick scope beforehand just to warm myself up because I'm not really a morning person. So I did that first of all. Before the live radio interview, I did some Facebook and social media posts just to get those out about the forthcoming event. I then travelled down, and from about 9 until about 2 o'clock I was photographing the event, and within that day taking photographs. I did 2 live broadcasts on Facebook Live about the event. Within that, interviewed somebody, posting stuff live from the event on their Facebook channel. Talking to people, you've got to talk to people. So at the event, I'm talking to people. At the same time as covering the event, I'm trying to get other content for other things that I'm working on. So I heard of a couple of other interesting stories and contacts that I can build on at a later date. So I did that. I then got some lunch. I then started processing all the material. Oh, hang on, I shot some video as well. So we also had the news TV channel. Thank you, Robert. I also did some video for the BBC News that they were doing a local, it was BBC South Today, wanted some video, but they couldn't get a TV crew down. So I had to shoot some video as well. That's where the iPhone, we'll talk about that another time. The iPhone 7 Plus is absolutely amazing. Did that for them. Wired or sent that, I say wired because it's an old phrase, but I sent that to them. Then went back, did a load more stuff, and then kind of edited stuff until about 7:30 in the evening. So that was a busy day for me. But within that, you can see that how different and varied it is. We've got radio interview, Facebook Lives, I did a personal Periscope, shooting video, shooting photographs, and putting Facebook stuff and social media stuff together, all for one event. So it's hectic. And that's what it's like. So listen, guys, I'm going to leave you with that thought that I'm quite tired, or I certainly was at the end of that day, and I will hopefully see you all again soon. So come and join. Hit the subscribe button if you're not following me already. I try and do this every single, hectic but fun. Yeah, and there's no criticism on there. I absolutely loved it. I was absolutely buzzing it, and I would have it no other way. I like being busy and I like being varied, so it works for me perfectly well. Really good. So come back tomorrow. I'm going to be doing this exactly, well, between 4 and 5 p.m. UK time. I'm going to be doing this. I'm just watching a skateboarder whizzing around on their skateboard. I might go and take some photographs of him. It looks quite fun. Between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. tomorrow, I'm going to be doing this, unless I have an assignment come up, and then the time will change. But I will try and do this on a daily basis, and I will see you then. See you later, guys. Have a great rest of the day. Bye from me.